All right, let's just rip into it. Okay, take 3. My name's Jack, and I wanted to come on here to chat about the topic of godly purpose. Specifically because purpose and mission and, what am I here to do? These questions have always been something that have stifled me as a creative person who has lots of interests. And I think it is hard to fit it into a box sometimes. And so I wanted to share some of the things that have really helped me reframe this topic of purpose and help me get a better understanding on how to approach the question at all, especially as a Christian. So the first thing that I want to say is that we have to change our thinking around the question itself. Because purpose isn't something that we manufacture in a vacuum. I really believe that purpose is something that naturally arises out of seeking God. The closer that we get to God, the more clear our paths become. And because it becomes a sense of overflow. It's like if we try and seek the purpose first, we're cut off from our spiritual root, which gives us overflow and direction in our lives. Which reminds me of Proverbs 3, which says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." So right there we can see the more and more that we come into a place of abiding, the more clarity we gain on our direction, which is amazing. So it really is, it's something gifted. It's not something that we create, it's something that we receive. Now, maybe to get a little bit more practical, I want to share something else with you, which was that, I think that our purpose can be super simple, and it doesn't have to just be one thing. But to put it simply, purpose is where our effortless joy collides with a real-world need. So you can think about, here's a question for you. What is something that you can't not do it? You can't help but do it. It's just natural to you. Even if someone gave you all the money in the world not to do it, well, maybe you would, who knows what your values are there, but it's like, what would I do for free just because I love it so much? And where does that joy and that effortless flow collide with a real world need? So how can I use that sense of just innate passion and love for this activity and turn it into something that helps other people? That could be a more practical step that might help you see where you can start to put some of your gifts into practice right now. Because purpose doesn't have to be some grand public thing. Purpose is all around you. It's how you're interacting with your environment. And yeah. Okay, point 3. As a creative person, at least for me, I want to have a sense of creative ownership over my life, and I want to feel like, my life is a work of art, a piece of poetry, and I want to feel like I'm the director of that. So I think sometimes as people, this topic of obedience and submission can feel like giving up your sovereignty, because it's like, well, what if I want to do this thing and express myself in this way, but God actually wants me to do this other thing? And so to that, I would say that you don't actually have to be worried, because if you're seeking God with all of your heart and you genuinely come into a deep place of abiding with him, as you'll probably know, your own desires start to shift and transform to match his. And so it's like you remain the author of your life, but you do it in a sort of relationship with God, whereby you'll just naturally find that the things you want start to become the things that he wants for you as well. And so it becomes this beautiful intertwining where, you create in relationship. And finally, I just wanted to say that if it's all about, kind of storing up that poetry for yourself, is that really the most fulfilling thing? Is that where you'll feel most alive? Because for me, I know that I feel most alive when I give myself away fully. It's like when I really spend myself in a direction that's meaningful to me, that's when I feel most alive. That's when I feel most fulfilled and joyful. Not when I'm trying to hold on to myself or store up treasures for myself or like have my cake and eat it too. It's like, no, where can I give myself away entirely? Because that is where I come alive the most. And that's where I feel like, this was a day well spent. This is a life well spent. So yeah, finally, I want to just reiterate that question. So something to leave you on, which is, what is that thing that you can't not do? Even if you tried to. And is there a place in your life right now, in your immediate environment, or group of people and relationships, where you could start to use that gift to serve a real need? Purpose doesn't have to be this complex thing. Purpose really should just be seeking God. Because once we do that, everything else falls into place and it overflows out of that place of, deep fulfillment in Him. And it can take on so many different expressions. So those would be my little tips, and I don't really think I have anything else to add, but if you did take something away from this, please like the video and see you on the next one.